Joe Burrow is going into probably his most important season of all time because we have to be honest with ourselves. This team, this Bengals team, has been a contender only once. And it wasn't the Super Bowl year, it was the year after because that's when they were a competitive team. That is when obviously the hit out of bounds really ruined their season and ruined their chances. But a lot of people are wondering, why are you guys saying this? Because we have tried to push this narrative since that contending year that the Bengals are a good team. Even though every year Joe Burrow is either hurt, misses games, so they lose too many, or they just have bad pieces on their team, like their defense. Their defense not being a solid and good unit. And Joe Burrow is following the path of Andrew Luck. We've talked about this before on streams and everything else, but Andrew Luck, his career ended because of injury. And because he's like, all right, I'd rather just not play football than deal with more surgeries. And this man has gone through so many injuries. Here are the majority of injuries. I'm going to tell you games that, here, let's just roll with this. Here are names or the stuff that cost him to not miss games. Okay, so these are injuries that didn't cost him. Torn rib cartilage. He did that in the national championship game. He obviously played that. A throat contusion. Don't know how you get that. That was in 2021. A right pinky injury. That was in 2021. Those did not cause him to miss games. Now, let's look at the season-ending injuries because he's actually only had two. In 2020, he had the torn ACL, MCL, and the PCL, and the meniscus. That's the injury in his rookie season where, obviously, the big hit in that Washington game that really took him out. We were wondering how this man's career would turn out towards then. We knew at that point, not what we know now, which is that it's just going to be injury riddle. In 2023, he had a torn wrist ligament, and obviously that was during the middle of the season, early part of the season, where we saw him try to throw on the sideline. He couldn't have a grip. That was the end of his season. Major injuries that cost significant time. A broken throwing hand, that was at Ohio State. A torn rib cartilage, that was at LSU. A knee injury in 2020. So that was obviously the ACL. Sorry, these are going to be doubled. So let me try to not repeat those. Calf strain injury in 2023. I believe that was in camp, if I'm not mistaken. And then in 2024 he was all right, and then in 2025 he had that turf toe. That took him out for a decent chunk of the season. And obviously, once again, he got put into the season back where it was just like, all right, cool, we're fighting to try to stay alive. And 4 games into it, the season's over. You can't miss that many games with injuries. And I feel like he's played a lot more injured than he has fine. But this is a very crucial one for Joe Burrow because I'm just curious on what he thinks about the Cincinnati team. Because say the Cincinnati team, what's next? That he's just gonna say, you know what, let's trust this. What have they done? They haven't brought in major free agents. Now they do go out and get Dexter Lawrence. You look at their receiving group. You look at the core. Does Joe Burrow just like, yeah, I'm QB1. I'm QB1 of this team, 110%. But at one point, does he think not only maybe this isn't the team for me, but retirement? Obviously, I don't hope for injuries, and I'm a Steelers fan, and I hope Joe Burrow stays healthy because if you could beat a good Joe Burrow at least once a year, but if you could beat him twice a year, that's amazing. Same with Lamar. But every time we play, and sometimes I feel like when we play the Bengals without Joe Burrow, I feel like we lose more games. But it's just, I just feel like his career is hitting maybe the most important year of it. Because are we going to have to go through another injury riddle year? Luckily, so far, as I'm filming this video on the 8th, we have no problem. We have no idea about any potential injuries. It sounds like he is just chilling, yeah, which is good. Obviously, we don't want anything to happen at him during camp. So now the biggest question of all that is, well, what's next? Is Joe Burrow going to go back to his MVP like ways? Like, look, there was times where he looked like an MVP. He had such a just a wild and different career. Like, and let's just look at some of his career goals are crazy. Obviously, he he not only had a decent rookie year, being the first overall pick before the injury, he comes back in 2021, becomes comeback player of the year, wins the AFC North title, and has a Super Bowl appearance. And if it wasn't for Aaron Donald, who knows? The Bengals might have been Super Bowl champions. In 2023, in 2022, he has another AFC Championship appearance. He was one play away from another Super Bowl. He had a calf injury, wrist injury. Season was over in 2023. In 2024, he had nearly 5,000 yards, 43 touchdowns, his best statistical season, but the Bengals missed the playoffs. So that's something that's got to get brought up. Is like, man, like what's next? Like what's next for us? Because if I can't even have the best season of my career, and I've been to two AFC Championship games, I've won one of them. I'm a one or two plays away from being a Super Bowl champion, and I can't do it here because I'm either hurt or we just are out of the postseason because our roster's not good. And in 2025, that's the same thing, turf toe, another season that just gets, you know, abruptly ended or like the sidelined, and then now we just don't know if his durability's good anymore. His offensive line, I feel like every single year they've never developed an offensive line. I feel like if they just started back in 2020 drafting guys in the first and second round, similar to how the Steelers have done it, where yes, even though the Steelers still have question marks, they have guys that look pretty solid. They have guys. They have their future center, like the center of the future. They've found some pretty good guards and pretty good tackles. So it's like maybe they should do the same. They haven't really found the next step of offensive lineman for that team. Whether they just don't trust them or whether they just don't want to give them the time of day, they go out and pay these guys contracts that never truly help or get hurt or they're older, and it's just like it never helps Joe Burrow in that offensive line. They're going into a very important season, and I don't have the roster in front of me, and I'm going to try to get it before I end this. But does this roster have the chance to compete? I do think one thing, and we'll go through a whole when I do a live stream about the entire and I don't know if I'll do a live stream or a video. It probably will be a live stream, but I want to break down every team and where I think they'll be next year, who I think is going to win the division, what I think of every team this season. And basically, I think out of the four teams in the AFC North, the Steelers and the Bengals got better this offseason, while the Ravens and Browns either stayed the same or got worse. For Cincinnati, Joe Burrow is your QB. Your running back is going to be interesting because I think they're going to roll with Chase Brown, obviously. But who knows? Like maybe they give one of these other guys a shot to see what they really have as their punch. This receiving group, I think, is solid. Their tight ends, I mean, I think if you have Gesicki on this team, I think you're going to be solid. I feel like it might take a slight step back just because of you're losing one of your top guys last year. But the defense is where I'm more worried about this team. And you do go out and get some guys that might be able to give you an edge, might be able to give you a chance. I don't know how great some of these guys will be, but I do know that bringing in guys like Dexter Lawrence and bringing in guys that are going to hopefully help your defense in many different ways. And honestly, I know Trey Hendricks sucks that he left, but honestly, I don't think he's going to be great for the Baltimore Ravens. I would rather have Max Crosby in that regard. But I mean, I think I would rather have Dexter Lawrence right now than anybody else. So I think that their defense hopefully got better this season. But what is going to be the Joe Burrow this season is the important. I think it's simple. Make the playoffs. Just make the playoffs. Stay healthy and make the playoffs. Because if they can stay healthy, he makes the postseason. Like, it doesn't matter if you win the AFC North. Obviously, that would be amazing. That means you're back on top. But if you could just sneak in as a wild card team and just show that you are a good team, I think the Bengals could make some noise, and the things about Joe Burrow just end. Because now, if they get back into a conversation where they are potential contenders because of Joe Burrow, here's the thing I'm going to tell you right now. I don't care what it takes. You have to go all in for Joe. You have to go all in. Make that defense better. Make that offense even stronger. You have to make sure that Joe Burrow is going to be in the playoffs every single year, because you can't have a talented quarterback like that not. And I don't know if he goes through another season-ending injury in the next year or two. I don't know where his career falls. I think it could fall into the category of, I think I'm done, or he's just going to be like, continue to do what he's doing, but I think he'll be more hesitant to be like, okay, if the Bengals aren't doing anything good for me, I want out. But I see retirement more than I see him wanting out. Um, but that's just because of his history. But we'll see. I mean, because you've gone through so many injuries and, part of your life, and you got to start thinking about how you're going to look when you're hitting 40 and 50. Like the fact that Aaron Rodgers is 40 years old and he's not like, you know, he's still moving around really good is solid, and it's amazing to see. But you look at guys like Tom, same thing. Like, it was great to see. But then you guys look at older stars and older athletes that are in their 50s and 60s and 70s, and they're hurting. Their knees are hurting. Everything's hurting because of the way the game was played back then and the injuries they had to deal with. So it's just kind of like you have to consider that into an effect. But I hope Joe Burrow is healthy. I hope he plays a hell of a season, maybe even an MVP candidate. But we will find out this year. Let me know what you guys think. Follow me on everything down below. Let me know all your thoughts and opinions as always. And I'll see you in the next one.
Energy just fuels my fire. Let go my ego, elevated higher. Talking sports, reigning supreme. Slaying every game like it's a dream. Never let go of this ego. I hold more than enough for me and my amigos go. From the devil to the ice rink, I run the show. All eyes on me wherever I go. You drop the ball, I caught it all. Save the game when I got the call. Yeah, I'm the champ. The ruling legs, let go my ego. Winning every race, sports world's mine. No time to fall. King of the game, hear my victory call.